It's been a while. Arsenal back in the knockout rounds of the Champions League for the first time in 7 years. And they lose to Porto. Not a single shot on target for the Gunners. I've heard all this waffle that you're going to win the competition. Nonsense. Have your say on it. 03 717 22 33 44. And Liverpool, they keep marching on. They come from behind to beat Luton. Go 4 points clear at the top of the table. Injury list. What injury list? Goals all over the park they've got. Looking like they are going to win the Premier League this season. Luton fans, you can come and have your say. Are you a little bit open? Do you need to go back to basics a little bit, going toe-to-toe with teams and you're getting found out? Right, let's get into it. 03 717 22 33 44.
Quite a lot of salt there, isn't there? Quite a lot of salt there, isn't there? Hit the like button, people. This is for an Arsenal defeat, people.
Back will come from Otavia.
An Arsenal defeat, people. When I tell you all that there is fear, that there is hatred, that there is worry, that Arsenal could win something major, this is your proof. This is your proof. And I get it. Chelsea and Tottenham fans in the house, I understand it. But also professional football pundits. And it isn't the banter. Look at the relief on their face. But they may have gone a little bit too early because it's only half time. Hold it in, lads. Football gods are watching.
Mr. Sitter in the first half has lashed one in from 25 yards across the face of David Ryan and into the bottom right-hand corner. And just as it looked as though Arsenal had laid the foundation.
And they tell Arsenal to not over-celebrate.
Behind in the tie, because in the 4th minute of stoppage time, Porto have won it on the night and will take an aggregate lead to North London.
Oh, Jason. Arsenal. They keep on giving.
Oh, they don't let us down.
They've never let us down, Arsenal, in the Champions League.
Look, just when you think they're going to storm the Premier League, storm the Champions League, back to where we really know Arsenal. Honestly.
You know, when I've said before, the reason there's the fear and the hate, the anger, the frustration, the relief when they do lose, they want Arsenal back down there. These media outlets, they want Arsenal back down there. By the way, I'm a Man United fan. The reason why I think I'm sensitive to this is because it's the same with my club. We're going to talk about that later in the video. You hear it from just where we want Arsenal. I still think they've been a bit premature, though.
So, honestly, there's a couple of gooners in there, and I don't like celebrating in front of other fans, right? But when you curl one in from 25 yards,
a very good
and
goal.
There's 10 seconds left, there's nothing you can do.
Roofy's
poor old Roofy.
He's
Connor was out there as well. The Gooners out there. We've got a couple of lads. Who's out there? Henry's out there with Luke.
It's full of them.
They're out there. Henry and Luke.
By the way, they do this type of skit after other teams lose, but it's never like this. This is a madness.
They're out in Porto, poor fellas. Because they're normally in the office.
Devastated.
Gets in there. Oh, dear.
What is wrong with them?
Well, look.
Just see it out. What are they doing?
See it out's the right word, mate. See it out. There, Martinelli gives the ball away. Look, it's a brilliant goal.
It's a great goal, but it's a poor
when you're
goal.
20 seconds from the end of the game.
Poor goal to concede.
And to be honest with you, Porto
That's all true.
aren't great. They're not great.
No, they're third.
Arsenal will beat them. There's one thing here that Arsenal fans are listening to, right? That it makes it that bit harder. And it gives Porto. Durham summed it up beautifully. Gives them a game plan. Gives them something to go there now and work.
Now, Cundy's being honest, and O'Hara's like, "Oh, why are you ruining this for us? Why are you ruining the party?"
Get the first goal in the game, Porto at the Emirates. Then things change. But I think Arsenal go through. But yes, it's nice to see.
Do you? Do you
see? Told ya.
You really think Arsenal go through?
Yeah, I do.
We keep saying this, mate.
No, I do,
They
Jay.
crumble every time in the Champions League.
Yeah.
They do it all the time. They've got back in it, and again, they buckle. They do it all the time.
If I had to put a pound of Cundy money, who goes through to the quarterfinals, it's not on
all
Porto,
this
mate.
nonsense I've heard over the last, Kevin Atchard coming on saying Arsenal, they're right amongst it with Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and Manchester City. Come on, drop me out.
No, not having it.
They've never won the Champions League.
That doesn't mean they've
never won it.
And it doesn't mean they won't win it. Like, I understand heritage plays a part, But this idea that you can't win it because you've never won it is flawed. Because City won it last year. Everybody's won it for the first time in their history. Because they've never won it before isn't a reason they won't win it again. It's not a good enough answer.
Come on, mate. They're miles off it in the Champions League. Naive they are.
Look. I think if you're an Arsenal fan, obviously it's a bad way to lose a game. In a game that you really were, Porto weren't really that great. They're in control of the tie. Now all of a sudden they lost a little bit of grip. That's all that's happened here. That's all that's happened, Jay. I mean, look, we can hope and pray. But I still think Arsenal in 3 weeks. Is it 3 weeks?
We can hope and pray.
Hope and pray.
Listen, Cundy speaking facts there, to be fair. I think O'Hara believes Arsenal are going through, by the way. I think he's coming to that realization throughout this video.
We can hope and pray they get knocked out.
Oh, Arsenal.
But it's only it's an absolute wounder, by the way, to lose it like that.
Let me tell you now, right? Let me tell you, Arsenal are going to finish the season with the same amount of trophies as Sheffield United.
Look, I know it's a little bit of banter, but oh my God, come on now. His hatred of Arsenal is a mad one. Hit the like and share button, people.
Hojlund, this is their first 20 Premier League appearances. We know how spectacular and how big the impact was for Erling Haaland when he arrived in the English Premier League. You can see 25 goals in his first 20 appearances compared to 7 for Hojlund. Assists, very similar as well, but minutes per goal, things very different. 210 minutes per goal for Rasmus Hojlund compared to Haaland's 66 minutes per goal. Chances created, very similar as well. You can see the conversion rate, very different as well. And the XG, once again, very different. 6.5 goals expected for this man compared to the 17 that were expected for Erling Haaland. But since Christmas, it's a slightly different story. Now, it's important to point out that Erling Haaland is coming back from injury, so still not at his very best at the moment. But you can see the comparison. Games, 6-5, goals, 7-3. The XG, of course, still slightly different and in favour of the main man, Erling Haaland. You can see the assist is very similar. Minutes per goal, very different. 75 minutes per goal for this man compared to Erling Haaland. The shot conversion rate, completely different. This is very stark. 64%. As we know, this man is in red-hot form at the moment compared to 13% of Erling Haaland. And then...
I want to stop this here. Look, I personally feel like I know what Sky are doing. Rasmus Hojlund should never have been compared to Erling Haaland when he comes in from a goal-scoring point of view. Nobody has ever said they're on the same page. Rasmus Hojlund wasn't coming in with the Champions League pedigree and the goal-scoring pedigree that Erling Haaland came in with. Simple and straightforward as that. He also joined a team that was nowhere near as functional or as good as this Manchester City team. And it's unfortunate that he's now picked up this injury, really, but as soon as he starts doing well, what the media now start to do is, like they did in the summer, is the comparisons against Erling Haaland again. Now, they have shown those there that make Hojlund look a little bit more comparable and actually better in the last 6 or 7 games. But we know he isn't better than Erling Haaland at this particular moment in time. Maybe never better than him overall, and I don't ever think he'll be as good as him as a finisher. But what they're trying to do here is discredit what Rasmus Hojlund is doing in a very different circumstance at Manchester United. The fact they're comparing them as well is literally because they're both from Scandinavia and they have blonde hair. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely mad that they use those two as comparisons due to their names being relatively similar and they both have blonde hair. That's it. That's why they're doing it. It's absolutely crazy. Rasmus Hojlund needs praise for what he's done recently and needs to continue doing it when he returns from injury. Erling Haaland is the best striker in the world, and that isn't debatable in any way, shape, or form. But what this will now be twisted into is, forget idiots online that don't show their face or their real name. Pieces like this will then be twisted into United fans think he's as good as Haaland. And then he starts getting stick. Then we start getting ridicule. It's so obvious. Like I said, the way we're treating the line's crazy. And what I will say is this. It's an absolutely absurd agenda. Haaland averages a goal every 4 shots in the Premier League. Rasmus Hojlund averages a goal every 3.57 shots. The difference is that Man United don't create as many chances as Manchester City. And if we did, there's a chance he'd be up near towards 19 goals this season if you believe in the conversion rate that he's on. If you believe in it, if you think it would have maintained the same level. That's taking nothing away from Erling Haaland. It's just looking at the stats from a completely different point of view. I personally think if we were getting more shots, conversion rate would drop slightly. That's my personal opinion. But this is the problem with the stats they're using, taking them out of context and not applying. He sort of did that thing. Haaland, remember those returning from injury. Yeah, but Rasmus Hojlund had 2 injuries this season and didn't have a pre-season with Man United. Why haven't you factored that in? It's all about trying to cause hate. It's all about trying to cause a false narrative towards this young man who should be left alone to develop. And for me, it's a really poor piece of work here from Sky Sports to try and use a positive situation at Man United and turn it into a negative one. Do me a favor, though, and hit the like button. Please give me your thoughts and your feelings on this. We shouldn't be doing this kind of comparison. We really, really shouldn't, because we know why. It's an absolute setup. It's a cheap shot, in my humble view. Take care, people. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon.